Hey everyone, I just wanted to go over a couple of trades that I took today utilizing the candle filter strategy. I hope you guys have had some time to look at this, to back test it against whatever pair or pairs that you trade with. I think that you'll find it's very powerful. It can help you define a model if you're still looking for one. It can help with psychology. It can help with patience. It's a very, very powerful model. And again, just wanted to show you some of the trades that I took today. Now let me say this, guys, this is not the end all be all. I know I stressed that in a previous video. This is not my primary strategy, even though I do utilize this quite often, but I will still enter on fair value gaps. I'm looking at order blocks, breakers, overall price action, inversions, you name it. I'm looking at that overall, for the day as the market is moving. But because this strategy is so simplistic and because it has such a high win rate for me, I will go ahead and mark areas out as things are playing along, throughout the morning. And today ended up playing out beautifully. We had news earlier in the week. We had CPI, we had PPI yesterday, and then I already knew, or I was anticipating and hoping earlier in the week that looking down the road this week, that Thursday would be a great trading day. Just looking at the news folders, looking at how things were laid out for the day. And in terms of news, we just had 8:30. We had a little minor segment at 9:15, and then of course 9:30 opens and it takes off from there. And this today played out beautifully. In the Discord that I belong to, friends that I communicate with, they all ate very well today. So anyway, let me go over the trades that I took today. This is the first one here on US30. So probably like you guys do, many of you do, I mark up London highs, I mark up London lows, I mark up PDL, PH, previous day low, previous day high. A lot of things I'm looking at. Obviously I'm on the 15 here, but I always start from the weekly, daily, 4 hour, and then go down from there in terms of marking up my charts. So a 9:30 candle opened here, continued to blast on up here, and I had these London highs marked out, which again lined up nicely with a beautiful liquidity area, and it swept that, and immediately we're moving into a macro time right here. And of course, actually this is 10 o'clock. Macro's going on 9:50 kicks in there, and then you got silver bullet time frame going on right here. So once it swept London highs is when I put my hand on the trigger. And then if we move down to the lower time frame, I actually got in because I felt confident. My overall bias and just kind of being familiar with NAS and US30, the way they move, I got in off this first fair value gap here. So when this guy tapped back up, hit the CE of that, I got in, set my stop loss up here, thinking that, okay, if I'm wrong, no big deal, it'll be a little small loss, but if I'm right, this is going to be big. And the reason I was confident to go ahead and get in here, because if you look at both charts, the higher time frame being the 15-minute and the lower time frame, we are in premium, way up here in premium. 1 minute time frame, way up here in premium. When your higher time frames correlate, match with your lower time frames, you guys have seen me yap about this on Twitter, that is high probability that this trade is going to play out. So I was confident. You guys might be thinking, you jumped in on the first fair value gap. Yeah, I did. I know, Cameron's models get in on the 32nd one. Same thing here. First one that dropped, once it was created, this one tapped back into it, I got in. Now I did go ahead and map out my candle once it closed, but you will see here that once it closed, this is already the 10:15 candle here. Again, on your lower time frame, 10:15 is already way down here. So again, the phrase I like to use is the train's already halfway down the tracks looking at you, waving goodbye. So, it just never, gosh, this thing is still going down. And so it never came back to tap the OTEs. And sometimes that happens, it's okay. Even right here, another fair value gap right there was created, could have got in here. Looks like a possible inversion right here you could have got in. Maybe not. We'll have to, anyway, there's all kinds of entries that you can get into. So, but the way this one was moving, and me being most familiar with the way the NASDAQ and US30 move, when it did this and when it swept London highs, looking at the macro time, looking at kill zone time, looking at silver bullet, getting ready to happen is when I aggressively got in here and took it down to this area right here is where my take profit was. So it came down, went up a little bit, came back again, and of course it went on down from there, and that's fine, that's okay. So that was US30. NASDAQ was happening at the same time, and I actually didn't get in initially on this one until this pullback here, because if you trade NAS, if you know how she moves, she likes to stop hunt, meaning that sometimes she will go up and stop people out. She'll sometimes do it 2 or 3 times before the actual trade happens. So again, liquidity swept here. This candle here, this candle closed underneath. I went ahead and put the fib on, but going down to the lower time frame here, let me back up here a little bit. This was already going on all through here. So, you know, I was okay saying, all right, nothing's going on that I see. I'm going to wait on this one. And sure enough, it came back up. I actually had a friend that was texting me, and he was in the trade and it was moving back up, and he's like, you know, should I close? Should I close? And I said, no, man, just hold on. Let it cook. And so I said, let's just wait and see what it does. And sure enough, it came up, smacked that magical 61.8. Extend this a little bit here. Wicked off that, and then came on down from there. So I didn't get in initially until I saw the pullback happening. I put my sell limit at 61.8. I think I had another commenter on Twitter saying he uses the 0.5, which is just great. I've seen that you know, a lot too. But anyway, I stuck with the 61.8, wicked off that, and then came down from there. So that was a beautiful trade there. GU that happened just a little bit ago. This was my last trade, and this one played out beautifully. Got a liquidity area that was swept, and actually if you look back, this is this is the liquidity area right here. So this area was swept over here. Let me get my mouse back out here. So once that swept, opposing candle came back down, closed underneath it. Again, that's the rules of the candle filter. It'll stop you from, you know, jumping in something that turns around and reverses on you and then just smacks you hard. So closes underneath. At that point, once it closes, we put the fib on. And I've gotten comfortable enough that when I'm back testing, you know, do I want to put it at the 61.8? Do I want to put it at the 79? So I went ahead on this one here and put it at the 61.8 again. And then as you can see, looking at higher time frame, lower time frame, we are in premium. This whole area is premium. You want to sell in premium, buy in discount. You got premium here, equilibrium here, and this is your discount zone down here. If you're not familiar with these or what this is, there's a quick video I put on my Twitter account talking about this indicator. This is the only one I use right now that's actually active, and it helps map out your zones. I won't go into that again, but again, the point is we're high in premium on the higher time frame, we're high in premium on the lower time frame. When I saw this happen, I was like, hand on the trigger, let's see what this does. And so again, liquidity swept, opposing candle closes underneath that swept liquidity area. After it closes, fib goes on, and then you move down to the lower time frame on the start of this next candle here. This is 1045. So let me extend this out. Yeah, 1045 is way down here. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe this one's gone too at the time, but when it started to come back up and work its way up, that's when I went ahead, put a sell limit on the 61.8. It smacked it right here, and then just came on down from this point. My TP actually was, I initially had set it for this area here, but I like to be off the charts at noon, and it was starting to do this kind of stuff down at the bottom, and when it came back down again, I just got out, closed, said I'm done for the day. So anyway, that's the 3 trades I took today. NAS, GU, and EU. In fact, let me see if I can pull EU in here, because this is a good example here. We got swept liquidity here. I've got an opposing candle that came down and closed. Let me take these EMAs off here. And this is another one that sometimes happens. It just never, and I wasn't really watching this one at all. I was focused on GU at the time while this was happening, so I didn't even look at this. But this is another example of, you can put the fib on, it can look like it's going to play out, and it never comes back up and taps your OTE level. But again, there's other entries you can take if you want to get in on the CE of this guy here. Perfect example there with that I'm on the 3-minute here, fair value gap there. That was an entry there. Again, I just wasn't focused on EU, but he did not, I guess my point is, he did not come back up, tap these OTE levels, but it did continue on down, and it looks like it's playing out nicely. My TP for this area would have been right down here, ideally. So I know some people will actually put it at the base of the candles. I do that at times. Sometimes, most of the time, I want to sweep the liquidity and go for here. So anyway, those are the 3 trades that I took today. NAS, US30, and actually US30 was first. Then I got on NAS, and then just closed out GU just a little bit ago. So I know a lot of people have made comments and asked questions regarding liquidity areas, regarding other things. I will make another video coming up here very soon, probably tomorrow, and go over those type of things, and I'll go through the comments again and make sure I can make a video just answering a couple of questions that you guys have got about this. Again, this isn't my strategy. I got this from Flaw in the Matrix off of Twitter, and simply getting it out there so you guys can see visually how this works, what's happening, and how powerful it can be. So anyway, I hope this has helped you guys out, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.